Welcome back to the shop. One more day out here in the land of joy and excitement. Dave here. I thought I would give you a little bit of an update on what's been going on in the shop the last few days. Had some technical issues with the last gimbal that I bought, and now I'm having to learn a new one. Something with some fancy schmancy AI tracking stuff. But I thought I would share just a little bit about what's been going on with the boxes that I'm making. I'll show you some of the ones that are done. I'll also show you just a few of the ones that I'm currently working on. So we'll start with the ones that I'm currently working on. I have two of same style box. This is my kind of my first attempt at making two boxes that are the same. Same wood, same construction, same size. I have two that are in cherry, and they are the kind that have the grain that kind of wraps around all the way around, follows it from one side to the other, which is kind of a cool feature. A little bit more difficult to do, requires that I pay attention a little bit more and as I'm making my cuts, but I think they all turned out really nice. You can see I've got my stickers on there, my tape that tell me what box number it is, what side it is. That's just something that I seem to have to do in order to keep things squared away. I've also got a couple that are in canary wood. This is canary wood. And again, you'll see how that grain tracks around. The next thing for these boxes will be sanding and then putting some varnish on. This happens to be a wormhole, and I like to have those kinds of features, if you will, in the boxes. It just is more natural. You can see I've got the sizes of the box. This two of them are 4.5 by 7.25 and 4 inches deep. I've been trying to follow that, I guess what's known in the business as the perfect formula, where the length is 1.618 times the depth in this direction. So this 4.5 by 7.25 is close to that perfect ratio, if you will. So these will have slide-in tops. You see I've cut the dado in, and so that's the cherry and the canary wood boxes. I think they're turning out really nice. I do have some that are finished already, and you'll see these two are both mahogany. And I put a gloss oil-based finish on these, again following that grain pattern all the way around the edge. These are slide-in tops. Makes kind of a nice little box. These are 4 by 6, I think is what they are. And you'll see I've cut that side, and that becomes part of the top. It gets with the mortise cut, so that kerf is done with a real thin handsaw blade, Japanese saw, pull saw. That's 3/10 of a millimeter in thickness. So there's two of those. Happy with how those turned out. Those are ready to be done and passed on to somebody. I'm not exactly sure who. Then I have two that are made out of poplar. Now, poplar is normally a white and greenish kind of wood, but this poplar happens to have some purple hues, some lighter browns, so you can see the color variation, and this all came out of the same board, and happens to be really beautiful. This purple, I'm not sure that the camera's picking that up, but just beautiful. And again, wrapping that grain around all the way around. Well, 3 corners anyway, because it's all made out of the same board. So again, sliding top ends up flush across the top. Then I did one, and this is how I used to do all of these boxes, kind of with a recessed top to it. Got to figure out which is the side that opens. There it is. And they're made to fit a little bit tight on the friction. So, and I don't know why I chose to do it that way on this one, other than I didn't want 2 of them to be exactly the same. This one has some really beautiful grain pattern in it. Again, it's kind of got a purplish hue. Reminds me just a touch of walnut in that it's dark and has pretty grain and variations in the kind of the chocolate, if you will. This has kind of a little bit of a purple hue to it. Not a lot, but just enough to where you notice that it's not walnut. And people will ask us, what in the world kind of wood is that? So that's what we got done now. I've got these 4, and then I've got some wood off to the left that you might notice back over here in the corner. That is also poplar. And I'm going to do those 2 boxes 4 by 6.5 and 4 inches deep. And I'll do box joints on those. The wood has a bit of a, I don't want to call it a warp, but it's not perfectly straight and flat. And using box joints is a good way to hold it in its proper position, so it has more gluing surface on those box joints. So that's all we got going on for today. It is the middle of February, day after Valentine's Day. Hopefully all had a wonderful time on Valentine's Day. Took your sweetie out for supper, or at least acknowledge the fact that, you know, you're hanging around together. You ought to be my Valentine, maybe for another year. Who knows? So that's all I got for today. Kind of a shorter video. I'm going to post something about DeWalt and their routers that I'm a little bit frustrated with, but that's a subject for another one. Anyway, we're going to be out doing some more finishing. Got some sanding to do. Make the tops for these. Those will all be flat across as opposed to a recessed. At least that's the initial plan, and we'll see how that all works out. It's fun having another day out in the shop. Going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a nice sunny day. Probably sit out on the lawn chairs in front of the garage when it hits 50 degrees. So it's a day of joy. Going to have some fun, and so should you. Y'all take care. Have a great day.